One of these days, I'll figure out how to make that noise go away when we hit start. But until now, we'll just put out good content. Welcome to the first of hopefully many episodes of the Double Play podcast. I think that's what we named it a few weeks ago. Waylon's is about basketball because he likes basketball. Ours is about baseball because I know way more about baseball. And no, we did not coordinate our outfits for the first episode. Although it might be the uniform for the podcast. I don't know. Adam Brsan is on with me today for our Double Play podcast. Adam, introduce yourself to the viewing audience in case they don't know who you are, which would be kind of strange. Let them know who's Adam Brsan.
Hey, how you guys doing? Yeah, my name Adam Brsan. I've been in the insurance business for about 20 years. I actually got licensed in February of 2003. So it'll be 20 years coming up here real soon. For the most part, been strictly focused on final expense for 19 of those years, I would say. First year in the business, I did a lot with individual health insurance, Medicare supplements. And to be quite honest, I did really well with that, but I got tired of people calling me after the first year because they were frustrated that their rates were going up. People calling me all the time about claims from their doctors, and it was just a headache. I liked the simplicity of final expense, strictly focusing on one product. And really for the most part of my career has been focused on like one company or a few different companies at different times. But I kind of see the value in both. And I also see the value in the fact that you got to do what you can to do what's best for your client. And that's where, I have kind of decided to go independent here recently to try to focus on that, to try to do what's best in every situation for my clients, to make sure that I'm able to put them in a good plan at a good premium with good companies that I know that are going to do what they say they're going to do when the time comes, and they're going to pay those claims in a timely fashion. That money is going to be there for their family when they need it. So yeah, and I've built agencies. Again, the company I just stepped down from my position. I was our top manager for I think 4 out of the last 5 years. I love working with agents. I love training. I do weekly trainings every Monday morning at 10 a.m. Central, so that would be 11 a.m. Eastern time, 8 a.m. Pacific. And anybody can attend these trainings. I just go over general topics. This past week, I talked about objections, just overcoming objections. To me, that's a topic that I don't think people talk enough about. And it's something that can help a lot of agents. There's brand new agents out there that go into homes. They don't know how to handle certain situations. And just a little advice or just little things that they could maybe watch and learn ahead of time could help them save a sale if they just would have known what to say. But with that too, I think one thing in this business, training is important, but I think self-evaluation is also important. I think agents need to hold themselves accountable. I think that the best way to learn is from failing. You leave a house and maybe you didn't know what to say in the home. You left without a sale. Spend some time, sit in the car, think about it. What could I have done that maybe would have saved me a sale where next time I'm going to have a better idea of how to handle it? So, honestly, that's really how I learned most of this business, is just from going out and doing it and learning it and figuring out what worked and figuring out what didn't. But the great thing about that, I've got 19 years in the business with final expense, and I can save agents a lot of that hassle. They don't have to maybe do as much of that because I've already kind of figured a lot of that out for them. So again, that's what I'm doing on my trainings on Monday mornings. Anybody can get on there. AdamBrsan.com is my website. Feel free to get on there and subscribe to it. So
Awesome. I think a lot of times too, I've been trying to get better at YouTube, but it's like your business. You get better as you go. I had no idea how to do a thumbnail until I figured out it's Fiverr. I'm not doing it myself. I'm honest. Some guy overseas is doing it for me, but it's figuring it out as you go. There's so many agents that will wait until they figured it all out, never start and never sell a single thing. I'm just like, pick up the camera, say something about selling insurance, and then the rest will figure itself out. And the other part is self accountability. This is off script, but it's so important. You talked about self accountability with agents, and a lot of agents don't want to admit that most problems they're having are their problem. It isn't my fault. It isn't Adam's fault. It isn't the lead's fault. It isn't Miss Betty's fault. It's your fault. You didn't go to work today. You started late. You quit early. You didn't buy leads. You went in the home, didn't establish trust. Whatever it was, it's your fault. Why are people afraid to admit when something went wrong? It was probably their fault.
I mean, honestly, I think a lot of it is just ego. People just don't want to admit it when maybe when it was their fault, or they don't want to hold themselves accountable. It's a lot easier to make excuses. It's a lot easier to blame the leads. I mean, most lead vendors, if you look around, I mean, especially direct mail, they've all been doing this a long time. I don't see many like brand new lead vendors out there for direct mail. These guys have been out there a long time. They would not be in business if their only customers were brand new customers.
Yeah.
I mean, they're in business because of their repeat clients. They're people that are buying leads. Those repeat customers are buying the same sort of lead as the brand new person who's just getting started.
Yeah.
So those people that are repeat customers, they wouldn't keep buying if the leads weren't any good, and if they weren't making any sales off of them. So, I mean, you can't blame the leads. God, I've had so many agents in the past call me from other companies or other places that they were doing business, and the first thing they say, I just need to get on a good lead program. The company I was doing business with, the leads weren't any good. And I stop them right then and there. I say, look, a lead is a lead, and anywhere you go, that lead is going to be the same. So if your problem was leads, if anything, you might just need better training on how to work the leads, because it doesn't matter where you go. A direct mail lead is a direct mail lead. So much of it is mindset, I think, too. I think too many agents, they spend too much time looking over the verbiage on a lead. And, oh, man, this lead doesn't say insurance on it. They're not going to know this is about insurance then. All I need is something that's good enough to get me in the house.
Yeah.
And as long as I can get in the house, that is good enough. I mean, from there, then I could do what I need to do to help the person overcome something. And a lot of times, if you have, a lot of times they may be resistant, but it's just because they, I don't know. Hold on. I'm sorry. You're going to have to edit this. My dog is driving me nuts.
That's fine.
Hold on that.
I think the reality is a lot of times folks have a problem with the leads because I was saying it's a training issue. And I can tell you for a fact, you could give me all the annuity leads in the business and I wouldn't sell a single one because I wouldn't know what to do with it. You could give me double the Medicare leads and I would give you an average amount of production because I have a lower amount of experience with it. A lead has a lot to do with the training that you have. And if you don't have any training, you're not really going to get where you'd like to be. And if you're not implementing the training, you're not going to get where you want to be either. I can tell you of countless agents, and Adam could too, of the most skilled trainees that have never implemented a single bit of the information they've received. How frustrating is that as someone that's trying to teach somebody, Adam?
Well, yeah, most definitely. And again, we talk about ego. And a lot of times, I mean, guys just, I don't care what other business they came from. Maybe they were really good at selling cars or whatever. Even other types of insurance. I mean, I think, again, I mean, I've been so focused on final expense for so long. I feel like it's a different market. We have to do things a little bit differently. I don't think it works to get on the phone on Monday and set up your whole week. I mean, you might have some appointments on Tuesday. The rest of the week, I mean, you're going to have a heck of a lot of no-shows. So you got to do things a little bit differently. And again, I think a lot of times maybe agents, they have that ego, or they're just set in their ways. They're used to doing things a certain way, and it worked when they sold Medicare or whatever else. And they don't want to change the way they're doing things. And then it's like you tell them to do things another way, and they don't want to listen. They just continue to do it their own way. And then they wonder why they're failing. So, I mean, we're here to help. And again, I mean, there's really no I say it so often, there's really no reason to reinvent the wheel when you're when you got people out there that have already done it, that have kind of already figured it out and are willing to help you and show you how to do it.
I have this opinion in life that most things you don't need some kind of God-given spiritual gift to accomplish. You just need someone to teach you how to do it. Like cardiothoracic surgery might sound complicated. Give me 6, 7 years. I could probably figure it out if I'm taught. Run a brewery, show me how to brew a beer, give me some restaurant training. It's not a spiritual gift that I have to be bestowed. Driving a car, probably pretty complicated. Flying an airplane, just show me how to do it and then do it. Like don't just learn, actually go out there and do it. Someone said to me, I don't know if the interview ever got posted. Ruben Trejo in Texas called me after the interview. Nicest comment I've ever gotten. He said, "That's the best interview I've ever had. You're really good at asking questions." I just do it a lot. I interview somebody on my training every day. We interview somebody on YouTube every day. It's just learning and then doing. I asked the guy that runs a Sirius XM show, when you're doing your interviews, how do you structure them? Learn and then do it. It's not that hard, but most people are afraid to just get a little bit uncomfortable and push a little bit further. Adam.
I mean, I've always kind of felt like if someone else can do it, there's no reason why I can't. Yeah, I think you have to have that mindset. You have to have that self-confidence. I mean, a couple companies ago, I was on a company trip, and at the time I was just much bigger into personally producing. So, of course, I was a top producer. I wouldn't have been on the trip. And I started talking to people that are making a heck of a lot more money than I was. And I'm like, what are they doing? Well, they were building teams. They were replicating themselves. And I met a guy, he was making $100,000 a month. And I'm just like, if this guy can do it, there's no reason why I can't.
Yeah.
And I went out and I visited with the guy. I spent time with him. We went out, we worked. And I did everything I could to learn because I wanted to be that guy. And I kind of look at that right now. You look at these different organizations out there and the type of premium that they're putting up. I don't want to join them. I want to beat them. I want to do the same thing. And there's no reason. These people, heck, they put something together. They get out of bed every morning just like the rest of us. So that's my mindset. I see no reason why I can't accomplish what anybody else already has, because I can get up and breathe in the morning just like they can.
Yeah. What's funny is I said to somebody this week also, once you've done something big, you wrote 10K in a week, you sold 100K as an agency, whatever you've done before, the curse of that is now you can do it, so you should do it more often. A big week is nice, but why isn't that more your normal week? There really isn't anything all that special about it. Maybe you got a couple big cases, a nice replacement, a good referral. But statistically speaking, it wasn't all that anomalous from your other stuff. So once you've done it once, keep doing it. Anyone can do it once, but can you really continue to do it is the biggest difference. And one of the things I wanted to have you share with the audience is you have a career mindset concept that a lot of people lack. The long-term perspective of the business. You did a whole training on this in public in Tennessee in 2020. Can you tell us a little bit about a long-term mindset that you can teach others?
Sure. Yeah. And I actually did a training on this, I think a couple weeks ago. If it's not on YouTube, it will be shortly. But yeah, I kind of go over the necessary steps. There's so much to it. It's more than just one thing. It's not just setting goals. It's not just being consistent with ordering leads. It's not just, what did I say? Setting goals. It's not just, I already said ordering leads, a work ethic. There's so much involved with having that long-term success. And yeah, mindset, there's so much, every day is not going to be the best day. It's just a matter of getting back out and doing it again. And I'm sure it's happened to you where you go out and train somebody, and maybe you guys go out and maybe you kill it. You write a whole bunch of business, and then it's like the first day they're out on their own, it's like they're expecting those same results.
Yeah.
And they fall flat on their face. They're like, man, this is a lot harder. God, he made it look so easy. They got to remember we've been doing it a long time. But the good days make up for the bad. Not every day is going to be the best day. I mean, there's been plenty of days where I've just gotten doors slammed in my face left and right.
Mhm.
And it's like you just kind of have that attitude of, well, I just got to move on and help people that want my help. If they don't want to deal with me, well, then I'm just going to move on. I don't need it. I don't need them.
Yeah.
I'm not going to think about how much I paid for a lead and the fact that that person just cost me $40.
No, no.
Like, it's a numbers game again. Yeah, the training, I like it. It's good. Like I said, there's a lot to it.
Okay.
Um, but I think the best way to really explain it would just be to get on there and watch it. It's about maybe 45, 50 minutes. And yeah, like I said, it goes over like all the most important parts of really putting together something that will help you, remain in the business, where this isn't just a few months. This is our lives. This
Yeah.
is our livelihood. And I mean, heck, it's a good business. I mean, that's why I do what I do. That's why not only do I want to go out and write business, but I like to help people. I like to put people or help people, hopefully be put in a better situation financially. I mean, that is, I get more out of that than anything I do on my own pen. If I can take somebody out and teach them something, they can go out and all of a sudden they go from making $30,000 a year to 80,000.
Mhm.
I mean, they're thankful, they're loyal. And I mean, that's how, I mean, not only will I have long-term success as an agent, but as a, agency manager, I mean, the people will stick with you if you can help them and teach them and look out for their best interests.
Yeah, I found it interesting. I don't always love the fact that with a ride along, they get the wrong impression sometimes. Like you're going out there watching 7.5, 20 years of experience. This is not
Yep.
what your business is going to look like. I would almost rather you watch the training, you dial into some training, then you go out there and figure the rest out, and we fine tune you on the phone because you're not getting a fair representation of what your day is going to look like watching mine. But
Mm-hmm.
I'll do ride-alongs. I love them. I love to travel, but I don't want people to compare themselves to where they are to where you are. That's another problem in business too. People oftentimes try to compare themselves to other people, their success to your success, what they said about themselves on Facebook, what's actually the truth. There's so many comparisons out there that can distract people. Oftentimes, you just got to put your own personal blinders on and run whatever system you've endorsed yourself into at that time.
Yeah, most definitely. Um, See, I should have been writing stuff down. You're gonna have to edit this again. I
That's
just
okay.
completely lost my train of thought.
Talk to me about selling in the holidays because a lot of agents love to have a lot more excuses. People are dying for excuses sometimes, and December is a great one. Talk to me about selling during the holidays.
Chris, it's so funny, boy. You're really you don't even realize all these different plugs you're giving me today. But on my website, if you go to the blog section, I actually wrote a blog about this a few years ago. It was called I think it was called "Call Me After the Holidays," and that's what it's about. It's about how to overcome. That's a pretty big objection that we get all the time this time of year. But it's more than just that. I think that agents, a lot of times, they have that mindset. Hey, there it is. They have that mindset going in that people aren't going to want to talk to them, that it's a busy time of year. People are too busy going out and buying Christmas presents and everything else. At least in final expense, you know what? My clients, unfortunately, they don't make a lot of money. They're not out buying Christmas presents for people.
Mhm.
It's not, it's kind of sad, but it's the truth. Um, and I guess maybe that's just the mindset I've always had. They're not out running errands. They're not out shopping. They're not out doing all this stuff. They're home.
Mhm.
And if they tell you to just call you after the holidays, it's nothing more than just an excuse and a way to push you away. Um, I'm already here. It'll take 10 minutes. Can we just go over it real quick and I'll quit bugging you?
Yeah,
And
there's so
as
many.
long as you have that mindset, you're not going to have problems in December. If you have problems in December, it's your own problem.
Yeah, I think if you start believing what your potential clients are telling you, you're screwed. I have a whole training about the lies they tell you. It's 99% of what they tell you is a lie. And you start to believe they thought it was free. They don't want it until after the holidays. They have to talk to their friends, cousins, brothers, sisters, uncles, dog about it. It's all not true. Just do what you do And if you do it 15 times a week, you'll sell 5 of them and you'll make more money than you would at your job. Um,
I think I've had some really good Decembers personally producing. As far as running an agency, it is difficult. I mean, the numbers, they always seem like they are down end of November into December. And it's like I'm always just waiting for the new year. But again, I just think more people need to overcome that mindset. And they need to realize, I mean, you can go out there and you can work and have a really good month. And maybe there's even a lot less competition out there because other people still have that mindset that they're not going to write any business at the end of the year.
yeah. How many times have you seen an agent have a weak December and then bounce back like nothing happened? Or do you see a lot of times these agents with weak numbers really struggle to pick it back up once the calendar turns over?
Yeah, I would say that usually the first couple weeks of the year are even a little slow.
Mhm.
At least from what I've seen, my experience. Again, I mean, we're talking about a lot of agents just running numbers. I mean, I just left working with 1,200 agents, so I mean, I would see the production and kind of see where it would go. And yeah, I mean, every year, usually the first couple weeks, we're always really slow.
Mhm.
We're always really slow, and then yeah, I guess you could call it kind of like the holiday hangover. And then yeah, then they're 2 weeks into the year and they decide that it's time to finally go back to work.
Yeah, February's a
Um, yeah, I don't know. I've never really taken much time off. I mean, I've maybe a week in the summertime. Me and my family will go on vacation, but outside of that, I mean, there's really not much downtime.
Mhm.
Maybe between Christmas and New Year's, I slow down a little bit,
It's okay.
but that's about it. Yeah, usually between Christmas and New Year's is probably like maybe one of my only like weeks where I'm relaxing a little bit, but then I'm right back to it. Yeah,
I've always learned that it's a lot easier to enjoy your time off when you've worked your ass off to get there. Like when you can take your time off and know the rent's paid, the mortgage is good, the fridge is full, and all the bills are handled, it's a lot easier to relax. But if you're relaxing while you're broke, then are you even relaxing? Like in 2017, around the same time that your blog was written about the holidays, ironically, I went to work on New Year's Day. I don't think I even needed to, but I was in such a routine at that point that what am I going to do? Sit around? It's like Tuesday. Tuesday is a work day. Why would I be home? This isn't even like go to work. Like the training I did recently said, if you open up your bank account and your bank account is angry at you, then you don't get to take extra time off. You can take Thanksgiving, you can take Christmas. We're not crazy people, but December 26th, like Black Friday, it's already passed. If you don't have money, you need to be at work. Let's be real with each other. And the beauty of Christmas and New Year's this year is and Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, it's on the weekend. Thank God.
that's
Like
awesome.
I can remember Christmas being on a Monday and a Tuesday and a Wednesday during my career and thinking, this sucks. I need to be out there at work. But now it's on the weekend. You literally have no excuses if you need to work while you shouldn't be working.
And that's something. Yeah, I mean, agents, they just need to have that mindset. I can't stand when the 4th of July falls on a Wednesday
Oh,
because then it's the 3rd of July. Everyone's going for fireworks, and then the 4th of July, and then and then no one's feeling good to work on the 5th. So that's like the whole week is just like a total waste.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, again, yeah, I love the fact, like you said, you were out there working on New Year's Day. I bet you probably wrote some business too.
Yeah, absolutely. And back then there weren't e-applications. You would have to you'd have to overcome the fact that you couldn't do a phone interview. So you could only sell this company that didn't have a phone interview. It was a challenge in a little sense back then. Now people are freaking spoiled with all the technology that we have available.
Yep.
Adam, let's wrap up on some off insurance topic conversation. It's off season, it's the winter season for baseball, the hot stove season. And as much as our business is 24/7, general managers are looking to build their teams, acquire new players, refresh their team for the year ahead. What are your thoughts about the fact that the Cubs haven't been good in quite a few years?
Honestly, it's been pretty tough. Uh, I'm a diehard Cubs fan. I cried when they won the World Series. I regret not going to Game 7. It was in Cleveland. I mean, I think Cleveland is probably about maybe 5.5 hours from me.
Mhm.
And I mean, tickets were a lot. I mean, they were, I bet maybe at least $1,200 a piece. And I found a couple tickets and like my finger was just
Ah,
hanging right over the submit button, like to
ah.
buy these tickets. And I just, and again, I guess, well, I feared failure, really. I feared failure. I feared that what happens if they lose. And again, that's not the mindset that you should have.
Mhm.
Had I bought those tickets, I mean, I would have experienced something pretty awesome live. So, and you know what? I mean, honestly, that team was just, it was a great team with a great group of guys. Rizzo, Bryant, Baez, Schwarber. Uh, I mean, baseball, it's a little bit different than other sports. I feel like baseball, because especially in the summertime, it's every day.
Mhm.
I mean, it really, really becomes a huge part of your life. And it's like maybe it's hard to explain to people that don't understand the sport, but these players, it's like they become a part of your everyday life.
Mhm.
And I mean, when all of these players, I remember the trade deadline a few years ago, the Cubs, they were in contention, and then I think they lost like 8 games in a row or something, and they were completely out of it. And then rather than sticking it out, then they're talking about unloading all these players.
They traded every,
And
literally every.
yeah, and I remember it was the trade deadline day or maybe the day before, and I remember hearing first player that was traded out of that big group of like their core was Anthony Rizzo.
Mhm.
And I bawled my eyes out. Like I was so upset that they got rid of him. And then they got rid of Bryant and then Baez, I think. Yeah, he was traded to the Mets at the time. And then yeah, it was sad. And to be quite honest, I need to get over it. I still haven't completely. I haven't really been nearly as focused on watching games the last couple years. I mean, this past summer, I barely watched any Cubs games, and like I'm one that never misses games. But
Mhm.
it to me it just felt like a really bad breakup,
Yeah,
and like I just needed to get away from it for a little bit.
I think you're.
So
I think you're.
hopefully they're kind of turning things around now, and I'm ready to kind of get back into watching them. I know with free agency, I've heard that they are looking into to maybe bringing in some pretty good talent. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, ironically, I think you're wearing Cubs colors and I'm wearing Phillies colors by accident. Again, meet this outfit as you like, comment, and subscribe to the video as we look to wrap up. And that's just baseball. I wrote down here in my notes is final expense in so many ways. How it's a day-to-day business. It's the people you work with, the culture you breed, the consistency of how you play, the ebb and the flow, the hot streaks and the cold streaks. And there's so many correlations between baseball and what we do. It makes it a perfect last segment in today's conversation. Is there anything else about baseball in a whole that you think somebody could take away and apply to their business?
um, I would just say, if you're a leader, if you're a leader, I think it's important to know how to coach the right way and look out for your people and always look out for their best interests. I think that baseball. Uh, I mean, heck, I was pretty good at baseball until I had a coach that took the fun out of it.
Hmm.
And I think the same thing can happen in business. I mean, line yourself up with people that are always looking out for your best interests, that want to see you succeed, that really care more about your success than their own. I mean,
Hmm.
your success will help them become more successful. But again, yeah, you got to, and I think I try to be like I guess you could say like a player's coach. That's kind of like how Joe Madden was with the Cubs.
Hmm.
He kept things really loose. I'm not like a real rulesy type of person. Yeah, I can help. I can help and show people what's necessary to succeed. But we talk about accountability. That's a big part of it. You got to be able to hold yourself accountable for things. And I think that I don't know, just kind of having that loose coaching mentality, it keeps your players loose.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember a couple of weeks ago, someone asked me about how like often I call my managers and stuff like that. And if I make sure that they're staying on track with certain things. And I'm like, they're big boys, like they know what they're doing, they know what their responsibilities are. Uh, I'll reach out to them when I see that their production is down. You know, if I see that their production is starting to drop, well, then that's when we can talk. But again, you know, I think that, and at the end, I mean, again, they know that I'm looking out for their best interest. But I think that's like I said, I guess that would be my analogy for the day. If you're a coach or if you're a leader, look out for your people, and you'll be repaid many times.
Yeah, it's the interesting difference between Joe Girardi and Rob Thompson with the Phillies this year. Girardi, World Series winning manager, I think. I could be wrong. Took the Yankees
Yeah,
to play successful seasons. Was a great broadcaster for a year or two. Found his way hired for the Phillies. Had a decent season, an average season, and then this season it just wasn't good. And I wasn't watching every game. Like I can get it. The Phillies haven't been good in my daughter's lifetime. It was a struggle to watch them. And then June rolls around and they fire Girardi. Like this is just not a good fit. They bring in the bench coach, probably just a placeholder at that time. Rob Thompson changes the culture of the team. A player's manager understands the room, plays the room better, and leads his team to the World Series completely against all statistical odds. What a perfect
isn't that unbelievable how one person can make such a huge difference? I got up real quick. I just wanted to grab this book to show you. I don't know if you've ever read it or not. It's called Extreme Ownership, Jocko Willink. And
okay.
that's what he talks about, is the fact, like he talks about these Navy SEALs and how they I forget, they were like on some sort of mission or whatever, and or they were competing against one another, doing these different drills. And you know, the one group, they would always come in first place, the other group would always come in last place, and they swapped their leaders. And that group that was always coming in last place, all of a sudden they're turning things around and they're coming in, you know, coming in first. And that group that kept coming in first place, they were slowing down. So I mean, it is amazing the difference that the right leader can make. You know, that's really looking out for the best interests of all their people.
Absolutely. So again, thanks for watching. Like the video, comment below if there's a topic you want us to discuss. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Thanks, Adam, for giving us 45 plus minutes of his time on a Thursday as we look to debut the Double Play podcast and continue to build the life, comma, insurance, and everything in between brand, group, and YouTube channel. Thanks for watching, Adam.
All right. Take care. Have a good one, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks. Same to you.